and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be picking out my June TBR. That is so weird to say. I kind of hate admitting it's June next month. I'm pre-filming this a little early because I'm going to be traveling, but it still feels like illegal to be picking out my June TBR already. So I have my dice. We have our dice board that's going to help us pick. So let's go ahead and roll and get our first prompt. 4 and 1. 4, 1, orange. Orange. I feel like orange on the cover is one of those really weird ones where in my head, I'm always thinking of the next book that I have that has orange on the cover. Like I'm always like, oh, next time I get that prompt, I'm going to pick this book. Next time I get that prompt, this is my pick. And then I get it and I forget every orange on the cover book like ever. Like I just like completely blank. So we'll see how it goes looking for an orange on the cover. I know I have options. I just am not sure which option we'd go with. I don't know. It depends on what I'm feeling. I think the more I think about it, the more one in particular sticks out. And it makes sense for the month of June. And I am really excited to potentially put on the TBR. But I also know it's not the only book that I've said, oh, orange on the cover, this is perfect. Like I know there's other ones. So we're going to take a look at the shelves, see what orange on the cover book we have. We have quite a few options. I'm going to start with the book that I originally started thinking about when I originally got orange on the cover, and that is Play You For It. This is one of my newest additions to the TBR, so I'm a little apprehensive to prioritize it right away, just because like I've literally only had it for like 2 months. But I got this during Indie Bookstore Day, and it is about a journalist, and I believe she's the first female basketball coach. Yes, she's the first female college basketball coach, and the journalist who interviews her fall into a little bit of a relationship. So this one sounds super good. It sounds great for Pride Month, but I'm not 100% sold when I have a bunch of other options as well. So another option is Wild and Wrangled. It's not super orange on camera, but it is like a sunrise happening behind them on the cover. So I'm going to count this as orange. It's kind of like a yellow fading into like a reddish maroon. And so this one is the last book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. And in this one, we are following, I believe her name's Camille. Yes. So we're following Camille and Dusty, and it's a second chance romance. So sounds super fun, sounds super cute. I think I'm in the mood for a little bit of a cowboy romance right now. And on the subject of cowboy romances, this is another one that's not super orange. It reads brown on camera, like super brown. But some of these little like sun flecks are on the cover, and those ones are very orange, and especially like on the back, it looks more orange. Yeah, the back looks way more orange than the front, but they're the same color, I promise. And this one is the third book in the Cloverleaf Farms series. And so in this series, we are following a set of 5 sisters. And it's been a minute since I picked up the second book in this series, but it's small town vibes. I believe this one, I think this one's Friends to Lovers. Yeah, Friends to Lovers at one of the sisters' weddings. So that's going to be super fun. And then my last pick for orange on the cover is Glow of the Everflame. I picked up Spark of the Everflame last fall and loved it. Absolutely ate it up, adored it. Super excited to get the ball rolling on finishing this series, especially considering we just got a release date for the last book in this series. And that was what kind of was putting me off of picking up the second, is it's a 4-book series and we had no idea when we were getting the last book. So I wanted to wait until I like knew, hey, the last book's coming soon, to get my tail into gear and pick up books 2 and 3 and kind of read them, you know, within like a couple of months of each other right before the 4th book came out. But I don't know if I'm in the mood for a big honking fantasy right now. I think my top contenders are actually these 2, surprisingly enough. I'm super interested in this one, and I also really want to get more into this series. But I also feel like for Pride Month, this one might be the move. I haven't read anything sapphic in a hot minute, and especially not like a sports sapphic romance, which I always end up loving. I just forget they're an option sometimes. So I think we're going to go with Play You For It. Even though she's a new addition to the TBR, I'm very excited for her. So I think we're doing this one. Okay, now it's time to roll for prompt 2. Okay. 3 and 2. 3, 2, Litfic. Interesting. Let's go see what literary fictions I could possibly have to read. If you are a regular here, you know that literary fiction is not really my jam. I think I've read like 3 or 4 in the last year, and I never am like actively reaching for them. It always comes from it being a prompt on here. And it's mainly a prompt on here because I find it so difficult to squeeze them in. And I find it difficult to also like be motivated to pick any up. But a couple of months ago, I was in Minneapolis and swung by an indie bookstore and picked this book up. It's technically in the dystopian kind of space, but it also is like literary fiction dystopian. So Parable of the Sower is going to go on our TBR since this is a book I've really wanted to read. I believe it's set in 2024, and it has to do with how we've been treating our planet. Okay, global climate change and economic crisis lead to social chaos in the early 2020s. So yeah, it basically is like talking about like now after our actions in, decades prior. So kind of spooky. When was this book originally published? 93. So yeah, kind of crazy that like 30 years before someone kind of predicted what's happening to us now. But yeah, I know a lot of people read this a couple years ago when we were having those wildfires out in California. And so I figured it would be a good time to go ahead and pick this up now that I officially have my copy. So we're going to go ahead and put this on the June TBR. Let's roll for our third prompt. 4 and 2. 4 and 2. Brown on the cover. We literally just had orange on the cover and now we're doing brown on the cover. I might be able to do, what was it, Insatiable? I think that was the Friends to Lovers Cloverleaf Farms book that I possibly could have done for orange on the cover because it was kind of orange but kind of brown. I'm trying to think of anything else that I have with brown on the cover. Nothing really comes to mind. I feel like brown on the cover is one of those like, it kind of sneaks up on me. Like I don't realize it has brown on the cover until I really take a look at it. So let's go to the shelves and see what possible brown on the cover I have. I figured that since we already have romance and like a dystopian lit fic, I wanted to go more fantasy for our third pick. And brown on the cover, I had a lot of options. So let's go ahead and jump in with those. First one is Death Meets Cute. This is another one that I bought from Indie Bookstore Day. So I'm not really leaning towards it just because it is such a newer addition to my collection. It also sounds a lot like books I've been reading like more of. Like I just finished Thrown in the Dark, and that one is about like an unlikely duo where one of them is like a villain and a baddie and the other one's kind of like softer and sweet. So I think that I'm going to say no to this one just because it is really similar to stuff I've been reading. My next option is The Princess Knight. This one's by Kate Jacobs, and I've been wanting to pick this one up for a while now. I think it's super adorable. It's supposed to be kind of like a, like, I guess, like medieval times Legally Blonde, and I think that would be super adorable, super cute. So I am leaning a lot towards this one, but there's not very much brown on the cover. Like the guy's like outfit and his hair, and then like the little corners are kind of like a brownish mauve, and then she has some brown accents on her dress. But like that's really all that's brown. There's not a ton of brown. Brown was a weird color to find on covers, but like it made its way in there. Another thing that I've been wanting to read really, really bad besides a sports romance has been a vampire romance. I want to read a vampire romance very badly. And this one is A Long Time Dead. I honestly don't really know anything about it. I saw it at Barnes and thought it sounded great, so I picked it up. So it's set somewhere foggy in 1837. Poppies always loved the night, so it wasn't too much of a bother to wake one evening in an unfamiliar home far from London, weak and confused and plagued with a terrible thirst for blood, to learn that she could no longer step out into the day. And while vampirism presented several disadvantages, it more than made up for those in its benefits. Immortality, a body that could run at speeds for hours without tiring, and the thrill of becoming a predator, the thing that pulls rabbits from bushes and tears through their fur and flesh with the sharp point of a white fang. And of course, Roisin, I don't know if I'm saying that right. The mysterious woman who lived for centuries, who held Poppy through her painful transformation, and who for some reason is now teaching her how to adjust to her new endless life. The time they spent together is as transformative to Poppy as the changes in her body, and soon she finds herself hopelessly, overwhelmingly attached. And Roisin has her own secrets and can't make any promises, not when vengeance must be served. Soon their little world explodes. Together and apart, they encounter scores of vampires, shifty pirates, conniving opera singers, ancient nobles, glamorous Frenchwomen, and a found family that throws a very particular sort of party. But all around, threat looms. One woman capable of destroying everything Poppy and Raisin hold dear. So sounds like another sapphic thing, but vampires, which I want vampires. So this is a good contender. And then my last option also does not have a ton of brown, but it's When the Tide Held the Moon by Vanessa Vita Kelly. And this one is, I believe, about like a pirate and a merman. I'm not 100% sure if he's like a pirate or what. It looks like it's 1910s New York City, Coney Island. Very interesting. I usually don't gravitate towards period pieces. Like I don't do historical at all. To have two historical things as contenders for the category on the TBR is kind of crazy to me. But I also feel like they're both very fitting. But also, I think this is the one that I want to read the most. I don't know. I feel like I've just been wanting to read it so bad. And it just looks so freaking cute. So even though I do really want vampires, I will have to figure out a way to fit this in a different way. And I think we're going to go with the Princess Knight. We'll see. Maybe I can fit these other two in a different way. Who knows? Okay, let's roll for our fourth prompt. 5 and 2. 5, 2, pretty cover. We do love getting pretty cover. So let's take a peek at my shelves, see what pretty covers I have. I'm back, and I always feel like whenever I get pretty cover, I have to remind myself that it's like pretty cover and not like all the extra stuff, like not the sprayed edges, not the inside art, not all the other things. But this time, it kind of worked out that all of the books that I wanted to put in pretty cover also have all the extra little things, so we can go over like a bunch of really pretty books together. So first option is Starside by Alex Astor. This is just the regular Barnes edition. I almost forgot where I bought this. This is the regular Barnes edition, but she's stunning. She's so pretty. She has beautiful lightning edges. And then I believe, yes, we have a map on the inside. And then the naked hardback is also super, super pretty. So huge fans of this. Aesthetically speaking, not sure how I'm going to like it plot wise. It sounds really similar to Lightlark. Like I literally read the description and I was like, girl, that's Lightlark PG-13. Like, I just feel like it's going to be the same. I don't have anything against this being similar to Lightlark because I do really enjoy Lightlark and I do think it's a super unique, cool premise, but I also don't think I want to read Lightlark again. Like, I like Lightlark the first time. I'm not reading it a second time. So we'll see if this one makes on the TBR, if it is any different. The next book that I picked for the category of a pretty cover is the one that I think might win out in the end because I kind of forgot that it existed when I picked a brown on the cover book. And I totally could have made this our brown on the cover because it does have a tree branch on it, and that is brown. But we have Rights of the Starling. This is the sequel to Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. Absolutely adored it. And this one is also the super pretty edition with the sprayed edge and the pretty end papers. Doesn't have a cool, oh, haha, it does. It does have a cool naked hardback, but that is not what made me pick this book up. I absolutely adored the first one. So in the first book, Shield of Sparrow, we are following our female main character as she is basically like married off to the prince of a completely different land than her own. And she starts uncovering the fact that things are very much different in her world than she was led to believe that they were. And it's kind of her uncovering like not only like a new way of thinking and a new lifestyle, but also like sitting with what she like feels and what she thinks is good and just and right in the world, but also like having to deal with some uncomfortable truths about like who her parents are and like who her mom specifically could potentially be. So I think that's super interesting. I'm super excited to read the sequel. I do think this one might be my pick, but let's go over the other two before I make like a final decision because these other two still sound really cool and really interesting. I just been wanting to read this one for a really long time and I keep forgetting it exists, which is sad. So the next contender that we have for pre-cover is Wicked Sea, The Wicked Sea. This one is by Jordan Stephanie Gray. And this one is super stunning, super pretty. It has really cool, like metallic-y reflective edges. And again, inside art of our two main characters. And then also The naked hardback is absolutely just bonkers insane. Like so, so pretty. So obsessed with it. I know that this one has to do with a mermaid, and I believe he's like a warlock or a sorcerer of some sort. And they end up like bartering secrets and ending up in an arrangement where they have to help each other out. Like it's a reluctant allies to lovers situation. But I'm not 100% sure I'm feeling a sea theme right now. I don't know. It's summer, but I don't feel like it's summer yet. Like this is giving like late summer to me. Maybe. I don't know. But it still looks really cool. It's still really pretty. So it's still a contender. This last one I am super excited to eventually read, but I'm keeping it on deck for the author duo prompt because I know it's two authors and I need more books that are author duos. So this one is Bloodbound. It is by Ellis Hunter, which is the pen name for two best friend authors whose last name are Ellis and Hunter, which I think is super cute. But this one is super, super gorgeous, super pretty. We have awesome sprayed edges. The inside end papers on this one are crazy. I think this one and oh god, what is the star side? Yes. Yeah, I think this one and Starside have my absolute favorite end papers, but this one has my favorite naked hardback because it's a kitty. I love this so freaking much. But beyond the fact that it has to do with dragons, I don't know anything about this one. And I think I want to keep it that way. Like, I feel like I've read enough romantasy books that I don't actually care what is going on in here. I'm going to have a good time. So I think that we have made our decision, and Right of the Starling is going on our TBR. Okay, we are officially halfway through, so let's roll for our fifth prompt. 5 and 1. So that is yellow on the cover. Okay, I like this. Yellow on the cover. We can kind of double dip a little bit into some of the books that were orange on the cover. But also, I think I know which book I want for this one too, which is weird. What is up with me and knowing what I want to read this month? It's feeling weird. I don't like this feeling. I usually like picking like spur of the moment, like at the end. I don't like going into the category knowing what I want to read. It feels illegal. But I will be right back. Like I said, I am kind of double dipping a little bit with yellow on the cover just because I really want to read Wild and Wrangled. Like I think this one might be the one that I really want to read, but also this book stuck out in my mind because I forgot that the title on it is yellow. And this one is Stealing Home. So this is the third book in the Beyond the Play series. This one is by Grace Riley. And so each book is following a different sibling. The first one was a football romance. The second one is a hockey romance. This one's baseball though, following their like family friend who's kind of like their adopted brother. So this one's an option as well. This one's the one that I was kind of leaning towards. But also another one that I have that I'm really excited about is Double Apex. So this one's an F1 romance, which I wish I could tell you guys that, oh, I've read the other F1 romance that made it on last month's TBR, but I haven't. I've been putting that one off so hardcore. So maybe an F1 romance is not the best pick. I tried to lean towards contemporary romances this time though, since right now I just have like a ton of fantasy. Yeah, it's basically like two fantasies, a dystopian, and a regular romance. But I think we're going to go with Wild and Wrangled because it has yellow on the cover. It has orange on the cover, so it's already contender. And I'm also just really looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and roll for our sixth prompt. Oh my gosh, I swear, these TBR videos go faster and faster, like every single month. 4 and 3. So 4, 1, 2, 3. Published this year. Okay, after I've been like, I need to stop picking all these new releases, published this year. I also don't think we've ever gotten published this year. If we have, I've forgotten we got it. So let me look for books that came out this year. I might have to Google it to like narrow it down so I'm not just spending like an hour in my shelf finding the copyright page. So I will return shortly. Considering how many new books I've bought in the last, I'm going to say 3 months, this should not have been as difficult as it was. Literally every book that I wanted to reach for and say, oh, this was definitely published this year, was released at the end of 2025. Like November, December 2025, which like my understanding was is that's such a dead zone for publishing. But no, all the books I wanted to read. That's when they came out. But I did find 3 that are contenders for being released in 2026. They are 3 fantasies and they all have pretty sprayed edges. So we're noticing a theme with new releases. The first one is The Faraway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst. This one is, I believe, following a young girl, yes, 16-year-old girl who arrives at her great aunt's B&B in rural Vermont for the summer. So that sounds super fun and super cutesy. We also have The Secret Garden by Janine O'Reilly. And this one, I believe, is about Blackwood Manor. Blackwood Manor looms like a dark monument to a mysterious family. So the manor's not empty. Eliza battles thorns and secrets. A magnetic tension builds between her and Jasper, a dark, dangerous, and impossible to ignore homeowner, I guess? Yeah, I'm not sure. But this one looks super, like, pretty. It has the sprayed edges, but it's pretty. Not super convinced this is the vibe for summer. And then my last pick is one that I've been holding out on for purple cover, but I might go ahead and do it for this one. It's Arachnid. This is the sequel to The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. This one, we are following our 2 main characters, Silas, who is the creature, and then our FMC, oh my god, what's her name? I think her name's Alina. Yes, but I do kind of really want to read this one. Like, it's not really that summery vibes. It's also kind of like spooky with the spider, but I loved The Poisoner so much, and this one picks up 2 years after The Poisoner ends. So I'm extra excited to get this one going. So I think this one is going to be our pick. We're leaning very heavy romantasy, so fingers crossed our next prompt is like romance, or something we can just put like a light, fluffy little read in. So this is for prompt 7. 3 and 1. 3, 1. Pink on the cover. Okay, yes, that's perfect. That's what we need right now, is just happy, cutesy pink on the cover. For pink on the cover, I found a couple of options. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with how many pink on the cover options I had, but I narrowed it down to just our like romances that sounded funny and cutesy and happy, and then also an Emily Henry book that is pink on the cover. Because it sounds fun and cute, but I also know it's going to wreck me. This one is Happy Place by Emily Henry. It follows a couple who was engaged and is now going to I believe it's like a lake house with their friends, but they have not told their friends that they broke up. So engagement's over, they're not going to get married, and they're doing this one last hurrah at this like lake house before, I believe it's someone's parents own this lake house, and they're going to sell it. So it's this college friend group's kind of last hurrah to have a good summer at the lake house. And this couple doesn't want to ruin it, so they decide they're going to pretend to still be a loving, happy couple, when in reality they aren't anything but. So this one's a contender. I think it's going to wreck me, so probably not going to do it, but it also still looks so cute. Our other option is our girl Alex Astor again. She's freaking everywhere. And that is Summer in the City. This one is a super skinny legend. So I've been kind of saving it for our like under 300 page prompt. But I also feel like this one would be like super fun to read right now because it is summertime. Like, I think that would be super fun and super cute. But speaking of summer, now that we have a new like update on what is going on with Ali Hazelwood's books, I can go ahead and pick up Problematic Summer Romance and not worry that I'm running out of her books to read. And with that being said, I think I am going to go with Problematic Summer Romance to get me in that summery mood, get me in that vibe. And it has like the perfect amount of pink without being like too overly pink. And I just think this is going to hit so well. In this one, we are following a character that popped up in Not in Love, which was another one of her releases. And so in this one, we are following a guy and his best friend's little sister. So we'll see how that goes. So as we picked our 7th book, so now let's roll for our last prompt. 1 and 3. The title jar. Okay, we have not had the title jar in a really, really long time. Let me go grab it. Here is our title jar. I have written down a couple of titles and just put them on some like cool tie-dye like scrapbook paper. And so I color coded them. So pink is romance. I believe green is fantasy. Blue is mystery thriller. And then I also had some orange titles in here for spooky season. But I don't regularly pull from this like ever. So I'm just going to close my eyes and just let fate decide. I'm a little bit scared because like I don't really want too many more fantasy books on the TBR, but but I'm also kind of like, I don't want a mystery thriller either. So we'll see what title we get. Looks like it is the bluish color, probably a mystery thriller, I think. No, it's fantasy. Mountain Made of Glass. What is that one? I actually don't remember what this book is. Let me go try to find it. It was not mystery thriller. Blue is fantasy. Don't know why I did that. But it is Mountain Made of Glass by Scarlett St. Clair. This one, I believe, is a fairy tale retelling, but it's super, super short and skinny. So I'm not too mad about it. So let's go ahead and go through all of our picks for the June TBR. To review the June TBR, we have Mountain Made of Glass by Scarlett St. Clair from our title jar. For a book with pink on the cover, I picked Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. For a book published this year, I picked Arachnid by Ivy Ophelia. For yellow on the cover, I did Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. For pretty cover, we did Rights of the Starling by Debney Perry. For brown on the cover, we did The Princess Knight by Kate Jacobs. For a literary fiction, I picked Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. The first TBR prompt we got was an orange cover, and for that we picked Play You For It by Samantha Salvador. So it looks like this will be our June TBR. Honestly, way more fantasy heavy than I was anticipating pulling, but I also still feel like I got a lot of really good options on there. Like, I'm very excited for The Princess Knight. I'm obviously very excited for Rights of the Starling. I've been putting off Problematic Summer Romance for literally ever. And I also have some LGBTQ representation and Hi Pippa and a kind of like more modern classic that I'm really excited to dive into. So if you make it to the end of the video, leave the spider emoji for the arachnid. And I will catch you guys in the next one real soon. Bye! We're very brave. We're very brave. Hi, hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be checking to make sure my mic works, apparently. Okay, I feel like orange. I'm going to put the board away. I feel like orange on the cover. I'm going to start that again because I think I was looking away. I will go ahead and start with the one that was in my head originally when I started talking about yellow on, not yellow, orange on the cover. Okay, let's roll for our third prompt. And I've been wanting to put, I don't have anything against having it be like lots of L's. The next book, I'm gonna look at the camera when I say that. Hi, Bixby. Where's your baby? Where'd your baby go? Go get him. Sorry, my son's just being a negligent father, like always, losing his baby. It's the third book in, what is this series called? I legitimately can't tell you. Yeah, I don't know what the series is called, but Beyond the Play. That's it. It says on the back. I also low-key don't think we've ever, I'm gonna stop like petting myself. I keep hearing a noise. The first one is The Faraway Inn. This one is by Sarah Beth Durst. Oh, that was disgusting. Looms like a dark monument in a, I can't read. So dang, we are leaning very heavy. Heavy? They're going to discuss it. They're going to discuss it. So that means that we picked our set. Can't hold this. So here we have our title jar. I'm going to ignore that it's like really dusty. Okay. There's dust like in the jar. Okay. So oh, I was supposed to tell you guys what the prompt was. Fuck. I gotta do it again. I thought I was doing so good. I don't even know what half the prompts were. And the first book of the TBR we picked had an orange cover, and that was Play You For It by Samantha Saldivar. Oh my god, I'm dumb. The first prompt... Saldivar? Saldivar. Why did I say it stupid? Okay, I know what I meant. Hi, Pippa. So if you make it to the end of this video, go ahead and leave... Oh my gosh, leave a spider emoji. Is there a spider emoji? Oh, Pippa, honey. Oh, my sweet girl.